Hello everybody, it's Adriana from Living Healthy with Chocolate. Today I'm going to show you how to make a really moist and fudgy brownie free of some of the most common allergens like dairy, nuts, wheat and other grains, and it's also much lower in carbs. I've listened to all of your requests and I took the challenge to develop a very good brownie recipe that is free of nuts, dairy, grains, and refined sugars. And I also wanted to make this recipe lower in carbs because I can't have too many carbs just like many of you. So let me show you how simple it is to make this recipe. First, we're gonna melt 1.5 ounces of dark chocolate that is unsweetened and contains 100% cacao. Chop the chocolate into small pieces so it's faster to melt it. Melt it in a double boiler along with melted coconut oil or butter if you can have dairy. While the chocolate is melting, add to a bowl unrefined coconut sugar, maple syrup, and 1 egg. Then with your spatula, stir it to combine. If you can't eat eggs, there are some substitutes that you can use, and I wrote them down on my website along with this recipe at livinghealthywithchocolate.com. Pour the melted chocolate into the bowl, stirring while you pour it so that you temper the eggs. Mix in the salt and the flour. To keep this recipe grain and nut-free, I'm using pumpkin seed flour. Pumpkin seed flour works really well as a substitute for almond flour, which as you know is one of my favorite grain-free flours for baking. But since we want to keep this nut-free, pumpkin seed flour is a great alternative, and I'll put a link to where you can buy it below this video. But just as a quick side note, this flour has a mild, bitter aftertaste, so you will notice that in your brownies. Now if you want to, add some 70% dark chocolate pieces to the batter like I'm doing here. Bake in a preheated oven to 350 degrees for 20 minutes or until a stick inserted into the center comes out clean. Remove the brownie from the pan and cut into pieces. I get about 6 to 8 squares out of this recipe, and for 8 servings, these brownies have about 13 grams of net carbs, which is much lower than traditional brownies. When I make these brownies for myself, I do prefer to use almond flour because of the taste. The texture is a bit softer, it's super fudgy, like chocolate heaven melting in your mouth. But my goal is to show you that even if you have food allergies, you can still enjoy a good brownie. After you make it, I want to see your photos, so please take one and post it on my website at livinghealthywithchocolate.com. You can always post your photos in the comments just below the recipe. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you again next week with a new recipe. Bye.